This week on the latest episode of The Big Show, we are back in different locations. Charles Kirkland Jr. is staring into the camera like he's going to be counting down to get back to the yard in a little bit. We got movies to review today, including 3. And the big one this week, of course, is going to be Twisters and Sing Sing. And we're going to discuss Billboard magazine's countdown of the top 100 hip hop albums of all time. We always do these. Every time somebody comes out of the list, we knock it out. We'll have all that and more on the latest episode of Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. Let's go.
Experience life through the eyes of a true film addict. Keeping it real with FilmGordon.
Welcome to the latest episode of Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. I am Tim Gordon, and I am joined by Charles Kirkland Jr. Charles, what's going on, brother?
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles.
What was that from, Charles?
That's Hamlet.
Written by who?
William Shakespeare.
In what year was it first performed?
I would probably say like 1025.
Where was it performed?
Probably at I can't think of the theater in England. You know, his theater.
Exactly. No, I wanted to, because since you wanted to, this, I was waiting for you to do something else, but that was good. I like that one. Shane Lewis, how are you behind the glass, sir? Shane didn't give us any time today, so we're just going to be running on the show. It might be a couple of hours we can be in here today. But it's cool. It's cool. We good. It's always good to be back in studio. Normally, Charles is here. I'm out on the road someplace. I'm back. Charles is on the road. At some point, we will be together again, Charles.
There's some vicious rumors going on that we can't stand each other. That's why we can't be in the room with each other anymore.
Oh, is that what it is? Wow. No, that is not the case for me. I'm in summertime, man. I mean, as a rule, back in the day, we were here all the time, especially during those pandemic years, man. Where were we going? So now that we can move around freely, and COVID is still out there, because I know I'm talking to a couple of people who got COVID now, including the president of the United States that's holed up in Delaware with COVID right now.
Well, prayers going up for my wife because she tested positive. She now has COVID.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. It's back.
Oh, it never went anywhere, sir.
My son had it. Well, I'm saying it's back in the Kirkland household because my son had it a week and a half ago, and now my wife has it. So, hey, who knows? Who knows what's next?
Wow, man. Well, that's unfortunate, man. And as you said, prayers up for everybody, man, that's out there, because, COVID is the one thing that I think we all can speak on, that you never know how it will affect you, right? I mean, because COVID is not a one size fits all sort of a situation. I was down twice, and I'm not even going to say I was lucky. I was blessed, because I had COVID before there was a vaccine. During the times when people didn't survive COVID. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, as I said, man, stay safe, Charles, and do your thing, man, because we do want to have you back in studio as long as you're healthy. Do not come back in here if you got some kind of symptoms, brother. Don't do that to me, because I'm like, I hate you, Charles.
Unfortunately, I had a trip planned, and so I'm out of town, and my wife is home sick.
Oh man, well, that's unfortunate.
So she's truly quarantined by herself.
Got you. Got you. All right, Charles. Well, welcome to the show, man. It is very interesting doing these summer shows, man, because as a rule, we would normally come in here and talk a lot about what was going on in films, man. But everything seems to be pretty quiet these days, man, around film, man. I mean, are you picking up any chatter on anything that's going on? I mean, we're in the middle of these convention seasons. So, the GOP is doing their convention now. The Democrats will have their convention next month. So I think that's sucking a lot of the air out of what's going on in Washington, D.C. locally. But, as it relates to movies, man, there's not really a lot going on, Charles. I mean, I know that the big thing is going to be next week that we're looking forward to Deadpool versus Wolverine. That's going to be the big one. I think we'll get some mileage out of that. But outside of that, man, is there anything else that's happening that's of interest in film?
Well, on a personal note, you may want to block out July 8th through the 10th, 2025, because Major League Baseball released their calendar, and the Orioles will be playing the Mets right here in Baltimore that week.
Well, okay, well, there's a good reason to block
Well,
out the
I should say the Orioles will be slaughtering the Mets for those 3 games in Baltimore.
Okay.
Want to go?
God willing, I would love to be in Baltimore. I want to come up to Citi Field in Queens and watch a Oriole game because we have not had that experience. I was in Baltimore, was it last year, Charles? We were there?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't mind going down to Charm City to watch a game, but I want the favorite return to come up to Queens. So the Orioles apparently are not coming up to New York.
Well, I didn't say that. I just said that they will be in Baltimore. I believe we are going to New York, so we can do a home and home.
You're going to the Bronx for sure because you go to the Bronx every year. But I'm saying
every year we go, but we need to go on the other side of the city and see that other team. So we can set up a home and home thing. We'll do some in Baltimore and some up there. How's that?
Oh, that's perfect, man. Oh, I know the big thing that we could talk about a little bit, which we didn't tease. The Emmy nominations came out, and
oh yeah,
Shogun 25 nominations, The Bear with 23. That's pretty interesting to me because those are 2 shows. I think we had talked about The Bear. I had kind of tapped out. I think this was season 3 of The Bear that got all those nominations. But
no, it was season 2 that got the nominations.
Season 2, okay.
Season 3 just dropped this month, so it's not eligible yet.
Okay, well, Shogun, I can speak with high authority on that one. I enjoyed Shogun a lot. Shogun was great.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, man. Shogun was really well done. Now,
I love these moments of validation because I also told you how great the second season of The Bear was, and you tapped out. I don't know, a couple episodes in. You need to go and check it out. It's a really good season.
Okay. Maybe. I think it's funny because my significant other at home is what I call a credit mongerer, right? So every time something happens, she's always like, I told you about that. And Charles is similar in that way. Like, I mean, come on, man. I mean, you don't have to tell me over and over. People who listen to the show or the podcast, they know because we talk about these things, especially if they tune in week after week. They know you have said that The Bear is a good show. But Charles, man, like I said, man, you owe me some credit on that one.
I didn't say any of that. I said I felt personally validated.
It's not like you taking credit again.
I said I felt personally validated that the Emmys agreed with me that The Bear was a good season. It did better than the first season as the number of nominations that it got.
Shane is
I'm
sitting
just
up
saying.
like nodding, like,
Okay. All right. If that's the way you feel about it, okay.
No. I mean, again, yes, you have gone down, and yes, we have talked about this numerous times that you have turned me on the shows. I would have not watched Justified had it not been for you. I'm sure that's not the only show you've ever told me about. So, people who are in my position need people like you to keep me straight. Just like I need my younger friends who enjoy hip hop to always keep me on point with what artists I need to listen to. So, yes, maybe I'm a guy who does need people who are quote unquote credit mongerers around me, because the credit mongerers will keep me up on game, right? Charles will tell me what shows I need to watch. Young kids give me the music I need to listen to. Somebody will call me up and tell me there's certain stories I need to check out. Because I'm like this, man. I live my life like in a tunnel, laser focused, man. So if you don't tell me what's going on, I'm not coming up for air. I done missed a bunch of stuff. As evidence, watch this, as evidence, all the cool movies that you keep telling me about. You didn't see that movie? Mm-mm. But you know what, Charles, was funny?
But there's some shows that you tell me about that I haven't gotten to watch either.
Like
So
what?
so yeah.
Like what?
I'm still 2 seasons down on Atlanta. That's how behind I am on some things. So,
Shane, Atlanta has been off television for a year and a half now. And Charles talking about he's 2 seasons back. Yeah,
I am.
he's back. It's off the air. It's off the air. It's gone. So I guess you fell behind on Grownish and Blackish too, right? And Insecure. You still behind.
Nah, actually I never watched Grownish, but I did watch all of Blackish. Yeah.
You never watched Grownish?
Nope.
Okay.
I just was getting a Hillman feeling out of it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go for the spinoff. I'm gonna stick with the main show. And that's just the
Different
way
World was really good. So you're saying it reminded you of a different world and you didn't want to watch it?
I didn't want to invest in a whole set of new characters like I did with A Different World. I don't think I've heard too many people comparing Grownish to A Different World in quality though. Was it that good of a show?
The fact that you put Grownish in A Different World in the same sentence, I never connected that. I thought it was more of an extension of Blackish than it was of A Different World. Because remember, two of the characters,
and A Different World was an extension of The Cosby Show. That's where I'm getting.
No. I got that. But I'm saying you're okay. No, that's a good point. But I was thinking, like, I had never heard anybody talk about, I think it was Cal U. Shane, you watched Grownish, right? So it was Cal U, right, that they were at? Yeah, so Cal U and Hillman is two totally different experiences, man. But to me, what made Grownish enjoyable to watch was that it was two of the characters, much like you said, the spinoff, where the Cosby Show was like Denise, and then after Denise was off the show, they had built up like this lineup of these new young actors. Grownish was for that way. Grownish was all about, I think the first 3 seasons, it was Zoe's journey, and then Zoe graduated, and then they brought Junior in there, and then Junior had transferred. And so it worked out well. From time to time, you'd see people like Tracy Ellis Ross show up. Anthony Anderson showed up. The 2 young kids came through for a couple of episodes. So I thought the way that they did that show, I thought it was really, really well done. The only thing I didn't like was like the final season and then like the final episode. It just felt anticlimactic. They tied up like maybe one plot point. They brought everybody back, but that show needed like an hour, and it was like a 23-minute episode was the final episode, which I thought was kind of like, womp womp. So, yeah. But outside of it, it's interesting we're talking about this, but yes, there's so much television, and I think that's part of the problem right now, why we all seem to be disconnected in what we're watching, because I never forget. I think I told you the story, and we may have even talked about it on the show, that I'd gone to a screening maybe 2 or 3 years ago in the daytime, and there were a whole room full of critics, and I was just kind of walking around the room asking people, like, what are you watching? And like, we couldn't get a consensus. Like, there were none of us that were even watching the same 3 shows. Like, so everybody would name these shows, and I'm like, nope, I'm not watching Mr. Robot. I'm not watching that. I'm not watching House. Like, I don't know any of these shows. And they would name, and then I would name shows, and they'd be like, I don't know any of them shows. So, yes, we live in an age, in an era now, Charles, where there's so many different choices. People talk about 3, 4, 500 different channels. And then you've got places like, some of the major streaming services, a Netflix and Amazon, a Hulu, and these guys are just rolling out so much product, man. Nobody can keep up with all of this stuff, man. And even our journalist friends who are out here doing this stuff, there's some obvious shows that they're missing following the stuff that they're interested in. So
yeah,
that's what I would say about that, man.
All right. So speaking of which, Baby Reindeer.
Wow. Huh?
I was going to say, Baby Reindeer also got a number of nominations. The Netflix series. Did you ever get an opportunity to watch Baby Reindeer?
Get a chance to watch it. I'd never heard of it. What is Baby Reindeer? Shane, do you know what Baby Reindeer is? What the heck is Baby Reindeer?
Oh, well, actually, I guess
laughing, so apparently it must be something I really should know about.
It's a story of a writer, a comedian who also a struggling comedian who picks up a for the lack of a better term, stalker, and just the relationship that goes on between him and this stalker. It's one of the most creepy and unsettling shows I've seen in quite a long time. There were times when I was viscerally angry with everybody in the show as I'm watching it. I'm saying it's an excellent show, but it's very hard to watch, and it's going to make you angry watching it. And I think that's why, and it's based on a true story. So it's really an interesting story. It's an English show that's on Netflix, starring Richard Gadd and Jessica Gunning, and you just watch the trailer and you'll see where it's going, and it's really one of those shows that you will never forget watching.
All right, so I just pulled up the Emmy nominees in the major categories because between Shane laughing at me and you trying to explain this to me, I felt like I was super disconnected, right? So I want to make sure I'm not that disconnected, and I'm not, because now I'm looking at the nominees for so let's start with Outstanding Comedy Series, right? I've watched every one of these except for 2. And one of them, I saw the movie. Actually, the 2 that I didn't watch the series, I watched the movies. So the Outstanding Comedy Series nominees are Abbott Elementary, Air, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Palm Royale, Reservation Dogs, and What We Do in the Shadows, right? Outstanding Drama Series, let me just count. I've watched every one of these except 3, right? 3 out of 10. So I've seen The Crown, Fallout, The Gilded Age, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Shogun. I did not see Three Body Problem, Slow Horses, or The Morning Show. I haven't watched those. I did watch a little of The Morning Show, so that counts a little bit. So only 2 out of that category I haven't watched. What about you, Charles? How many of the Outstanding Comedy Series have you watched an episode?
The comedy series or the drama series?
No, well, let's start with drama first, because I just went over drama. How many of these shows did you watch?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did not watch Three Body Problem, The Gilded Age, or The Crown, but I watched the others.
Okay, so cool. So I watched The Crown,
I'll just say, if I were to pick one of those as the top one, I would probably go with Slow Horses. What Gary Oldman does in that show is incredible. It's
All
a
right.
fantastic show.
How many of these comedy series did you watch?
Let me see. Now you said Hacks. I don't have Hacks on my list as being nominated. I got Abbott Elementary, which I saw, The Bear, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Only Murders in the Building, Palm Royale, Reservation Dogs, What We Do in the Shadows.
I got
I don't
Hacks on
know.
my list. I'm looking right at it.
Maybe so I don't know because you have Hacks and I have What We Do in the Shadows. Maybe I have the wrong list.
No, I
It's
got What We
either.
Do in the Shadows too.
Okay, maybe my list is incomplete. I got 7 nominees.
Okay, and how many did
But
you watch?
anyway, I did not watch Palm Royale or What We Do in the Shadows. I watched one episode of What We Do in the Shadows, and I haven't watched any more of it. But yeah, Reservation Dogs, that gave us, I mean, Lily Gladstone was part of that show. It's a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. This is the second season for it. So yeah. Yeah, I watched pretty much all of them.
All right, so where
I don't know what Palm Royale is. I haven't
Oh,
seen that
Palm
one.
Royale is Kristen Wiig and God, what is the woman's name? I watched that. I watched about 4 episodes of it and then lost interest, which happens
Mm.
a lot with me. I'm like, man, I ain't got time, man. Moved on to some other stuff. If you can't capture me in the first, 2 hours that I'm watching it, because these episodes are like 30, 40 minutes an episode. If you can't capture me in that, man, I'm out.
Mm.
Where you're gonna get me is Outstanding Limited on an anthology series because I watched a lessons in chemistry.
Hmm.
I tapped out of Fargo when Chris Rock was on it like 2 years ago. True Detective, no. Ripley, no. Baby Reindeer, never heard of it. So,
Well, I'll have to say this is my weakest category as well. I've seen Baby Reindeer and one episode of Lessons in Chemistry. Fargo is one of those shows that I didn't get into when it started, and you know how I feel. I mean, once it's got its momentum, and I'm just not going to. I'm not going to invest in it until I got some time where I can sit down and just watch it. So I haven't seen any Fargo. Um, nor True Detective. I haven't seen any of that season as well. I watched the first season and I tapped out after that.
yeah. And then Outstanding Reality Competition. We're not even going to do that category because I don't watch reality shows. So, like, I haven't watched any of those shows and not even going to pretend like I have. And, like, in my house, The Voice is on and I refuse to watch it. I just keep walking upstairs, man. I'm going to find something else to do. I'm not watching amateur
That's
people singing.
terrible.
Yeah. No, I'm a realist, man. Watch this. I have, as they say on the street, ish to do. I ain't got time to be sitting up here watching. Never mind. I don't want to get in trouble because of reality show.
I'm a faithful watcher of The Amazing Race. I don't think I've missed a season. I watched the sad thing is it used to come on Sunday nights where the whole family could sit down, and now it's in like Thursday nights and late night, and nobody can watch it like we used to as a family sit down and watch The Amazing Race. But I know I've watched every season. Top Chef, I watched Top Chef. But The Voice, I've watched The Voice, which I think is superior to American Idol in every way nowadays, which is why it's not even on the list. So yeah.
Wow. My favorite category in all of these nominees is Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. And the only reason why my favorite category is because I watched all those shows. Like, if they ask me, that's the one category that I can speak to. Like, I've seen all that. Kristen
Okay.
Weeks, Jean Smart, Maya Rudolph, Selena Gomez, Ayo Edaberry, and Quinta Brunson. Yep, seen it all.
Yep.
There you go. So I'm gonna leave the Emmys alone, man, because the Emmys does not get enough time over the Black Reel Awards. We're not doing that. So the Emmys are the Emmys. They will be on television sometime in September, 76th annual primetime Emmys. And y'all guys enjoy that because some of us had things to do and we're not watching all of these shows. Baby Reindeer. First of all, you knew I wasn't watching Baby Reindeer because I'm not going to do something creepy, man. I didn't watch I did watch Dexter after the fact. What was the other show? 6 Feet Under, which was not really a grisly show. It was just about how people died and and all that stuff. But what was the other show? Dahmer. I didn't, and I didn't watch Dahmer, and my girl edited Dahmer, so I wasn't watching that. Like, no, not doing Dahmer. So, Charles, you got anything else before we move on, bro?
I got a funny story. I went to see the screener of Sing Sing last night, right? And I'm sitting in the row, with my son beside me, and these ladies behind. There's a group of people behind me, and she goes, I just want to let y'all know I watched Divorce in the Black last night, and when she said that, they cracked up laughing because I did one of those, what did you say? And she goes, yeah, it was horrible. I can't believe she was trying to warn them off of watching the show. And I'm like, she is absolutely right. Don't watch that show. Don't watch it.
An equally funny story is I came downstairs late last night. I was preparing to go to bed, and my significant other was riveted. And I said, well, what's going on? And she goes, I'm watching your favorite show. I said, my favorite show? She said, yes, Divorce in the Black. So I kept on walking. And she said, I saw the opening sequence. Wow. I said, Shane, have you seen Divorce in the Black yet? What you waiting on, Shane? See, Shane, we gotta watch it to be a part of the conversation, man, because you can't sit around. It's like being at a party, and when people are talking about something, no matter what it is, you got to watch it so you can get in the conversation, man.
We had a 5-minute discussion on how Mr. Tina Knowles was just horrible in that film.
He called him Mr. Tina Knowles. Shane, as we said last week, the opening sequence is wow. That's really all I can say, man. And I talked to one of my best friends who's a psychiatrist who didn't talk about, I'd say I think he enjoyed it clinically, right? Because, you were dealing with some trauma that was in there, and he was kind of explaining it to me. And at the end, I told him, everything you said, I agree with, but that still does not make it a good movie, right? So Divorce in the Black, man, and I need to find out because we didn't have a conversation this morning because I went to sleep with her still watching it. So I don't know what her thoughts are. I'm going to text her. Charles, go ahead, man. I'm going to text her to find out what she thought about it.
She probably didn't finish the movie. Look, I'll say again, as a ministerial candidate, I think the opening scene of that film was part of the worst pastoral experience I've ever had in my life. I was just like appalled on, how Donald Trump said there were good people on both sides. Oh no, there were bad people on both sides. I was just like, there's no way that this can happen.
He just literally used a Donald Trump reference in a Tyler Perry film. Wow. Talk about bad on top. Well, never mind. Bad on top of.
Oh man.
All righty. Okay, let's move on. Too much time spent on Divorce in the Black, man. Today we're going to transition into one of my favorite things to talk about is when we do our music shows, right? And Charles said before we got on, man, didn't we just do a list of these hip hop movies? I mean, these hip hop albums. And the answer is we probably did, Charles. But guess what?
It's back.
New lists of new people doing lists. And now instead of Rolling Stone, Billboard has stepped up and they did their list a week ago. And I didn't even know that they had done it, man. But we're going to talk about it today. So I went through this list already, man. And Charles, so it's there's full list picks of the best full-length hip-hop projects ever made, right? And I'm gonna do this instead of starting at the top and then working my way down. We're gonna concentrate on the top 10 of these albums, right? Because I think what they did was really, really smart, right? And I'm going to talk about the one glaring omission, right? Because I thought about it and I went through it a couple times and I was like, somebody's missing that we didn't talk about. There's an obvious admission, but we'll get to there in a second. So let's start with the top.
From the list or just from the top 10?
Oh, no, from the list. There's like one superstar rapper who is very well regarded, who does not have an album on this list at all, which I was surprised by, right? So we'll talk about it in a second. So Shane, we're gonna do some commenting with you because you are significantly younger than both Charles and I. So some of these albums, I'm gonna try to. You don't have to say anything yet, but you will be prompted, right? All right, coming in at number 10 on Billboard's list of the 100 greatest hip hop albums of all time, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. Slick Rick, top 10 album all time. I say yes. Right? Like when I went through this list, Charles, everything that's in the top 10 is a yes for me.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
This album came out in 1988. He is hella influential, man. Everybody on the list, people, including Jay-Z, Snoop, Eminem, Nas, Biggie, Kendrick, Cole, have all talked about how this particular album, and the thing that's interesting about it, Slick Rick probably made some other albums, but this is his album. This is the one that, like, his career and his whole persona is built off this album. That's how powerful this album is. And it came out 36 years ago now. It's still a top 10 album all time, right? Coming in at number 9, an album that was at the height of Jay-Z's popularity. He put out The Blueprint. The Blueprint is an amazing album, man. Is it a top 10 album? It absolutely
Yes.
And this is from a Nas guy who's not a big Jay fan. Absolutely. The Blueprint is amazing. Came out in 2001. He had producers a young Kanye West, Just Blaze, man, Hove, Never Change, Heart of the City, Song Cry. It's a great album, man. I played it a lot. Number 8. Come on, man. The God MC himself, the man who changed the game. Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim, 1987. An amazing album. Eric B. is Eric B. at the time, amazing DJ, but Rakim, amazing, bro. This is Paid in Full. It's one of the few. There's a couple songs that like everybody in hip hop knows. You can be 20, you can be 60. Everybody knows the lyrics. Thinking of a master plan. Got nothing but sweat inside my hands. So I dig into my pocket.
All my money is spent.
But I dig deeper.
Dig deeper. It's still coming up the rent.
Come on, man. Rakim. That was 87. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
Coming in at number 7. And this is heck of impressive to me, Shane and Charles, right? This is heck of impressive because Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre have both their projects inside the top 10. And you know what I say to that? Yeah, they both belong. Those are both top 10 albums. Doggy Style, and this was said by the DOC, right, who actually wrote on both these albums, right? He said, and I quote, and I'm paraphrasing, that technically Doggy Style is probably the better album, right? Because Dre had done The Chronic, and the stuff that he learned on The Chronic, he put it into Doggy Style, right? Doggy Style is just an amazing album, man. You got to remember, Snoop Dogg is like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Sounds like a veteran on Doggy Style, man. The whole execution of it, the production, if The Chronic sonically is the best sounding album in hip hop history, this one is at least in the top 3 because it's made by the same guy, right?
Right.
So the Michael Jackson to the hip hop's Michael Jackson to hip hop's Quincy Jones and Dr. Dre. Doggy Style, absolutely amazing album. Still sounds great. Coming in at number 6. Again, another album that Dre had production on. All Eyes on Me, Tupac Shakur. This album was when Pac came out of jail, had so much to say, he did a double album. The double album is outstanding. It is outstanding. There's nothing else I can say. I went and listened to my favorite song on the album, and that song is called Life Goes On. I don't know if you guys remember Life Goes On. Anybody? No?
No.
Life Goes On is a song almost not necessarily foretelling his demise, but him talking about life goes on when I'm gone. This is what I want y'all to do for me. So Tupac Shakur, man, an artist who made listeners feel his lyrics. So All Eyes on Me is his magnum opus. Great album. Followed by Life After Death. So Biggie's first album, Ready to Die, is not inside the top 10. The last album he produced, his second album, Life After Death, is in there. The 10 Crack Commandments. I Love the Dough, Going Back to Cali, which also foresaw his demise, man. So the fact that Biggie and Tupac are 5 and 6 makes perfect sense to me, man.
But don't forget, Hypnotize is on that album.
Hypnotize is on that album as well, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Coming in at number 4, the highest ranking album from a group from the South. And you could make a case for AT Aliens, but the album that made the top 5, Aquemini. Even the sun goes down. Heroes eventually die. Horoscopes often lie. Sometimes, oh my God. You remember this, right?
Yes,
absolutely. Love Outkast. Outkast to me, I got into a huge argument as an aside at a film festival. I was in Oxford, Mississippi, and I met somebody, Charles, from Atlanta. And she tried to explain to me that Outkast was the greatest hip-hop group of all time. And I said, I guess you forgot about the Wu-Tang Clan.
I'm going to say.
And she said, nah, because they only had X amount of albums. And I said, you do realize that the RZA produced like Only Built for Cuban Links and all these other albums, Supreme Clientele. You forgot that, right? No. Yeah. Okay, whatever, man. So we agreed to disagree, but I love Outkast. So Aquemini coming in number 4 is absolutely amazing. Number 3, my homegirl from Jersey, Lauryn Hill, just like Slick, well, not necessarily just like Slick Rick. Slick Rick had one great album. Lauryn Hill had an even greater one called The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And I've told you this story, Charles. I had a copy of this album because I was working in radio at the time, and I went out to Cali, and somebody slipped me a copy of this album like a month before it came out. And I was riding around Sunset Boulevard, man, pumping the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That album is fire, bruh. I mean, even to this day, there's not a wasted cut on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It has gone triple diamond. Let me say that again. She's the only woman MC in hip-hop history to have made a triple diamond album, Charles.
Okay.
Oh, for folks at home who don't know what diamond is 10 million albums sold. That album is sold over 30 million copies. So good, Lauryn Hill was like, I'm just going to drop the mic, man, and I'm not going to
I'm done.
I'm going to do some features on some people. Like Nas called me, I'll do a feature or something, but no, I'm not. No, I'm good.
Y'all live off this forever.
Yeah. So many good stories. We talked about number 7 being Doggy Style. Number 2 is The Chronic. The Chronic is a game changer. The Chronic, I didn't even know a hip-hop album could sound that clean. Like, and when I talk about clean, I'm not talking about lyrically. I'm talking about sonically. Like, you put that on in the car to this day, you can ride around and be like, yeah, doing this all day, listening to Dr. Dre. So, hey, man, super salute to Dr. Dre, whose follow-up to this was the Chronic 2001 or whatever it was, 1999?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Not that great. Not that great.
Shame. He said Dr. Dre's follow-up album wasn't that great. They forgot about Dre. Dun, dun. What is wrong with you, man? Not that great. And number one, we don't even need to have this conversation. It's the Bible. It literally is a guy who the RZA said he met Nas when he was 15. He said when Nas was 15, he was a fully formed master MC at 15. He said most guys have to wait until they 20, 21, 22 to get where Nas was at 15. He wrote this album when he was 17 years old. I mean, let me say that again, man, because I don't think y'all are really understanding what I'm saying. Because I have 3 kids at the house. None of them would have written Illmatic at 17. Hell, none of them are writing Illmatic. I'm just saying, Charles, the insight to poetry. Let me just read you a lyric, man, because I just heard this yesterday.
I mean, if you think about if you find the lyric you're going to read, but Nas just had a way of making you see exactly what he was saying when he was saying it. I mean, it was just like an artist painting a picture with words. And it's just he's the most talented lyricist that I've ever experienced in my life. And it's just unbelievable. Kendrick may have won a Pulitzer, but I mean, they never looked at Illmatic. That's all I gotta say. They never looked at Illmatic.
I mean, you're right about that, man. I'm trying to. Okay, so let me just read you this, man, because this to me, this is the first song on Nas's debut album, which was released in March of 1994. You ready? Freedom of jail, clips inserted, a baby's being born, same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end. Okay. Freedom of jail, clips inserted, a baby's being born, same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end. As far as rap go, it's only natural I explain my plateau and also what defines my name. First, I was nasty, but times have changed. Ask me now, I'm the artist, but hardcore, my signs for pain. I spent time in the game, kept my mind on fame, saw fiends shoot up and do lines of cocaine. Bruh, listening to Illmatic is like watching a movie. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Freaky to me how good Nas is in his descriptions. And I got one more because that's off of this album, but I just want to read this, man, because I'm constantly sitting home, Charles, and you know this is true because you always tease me about doing this, about how I sit around and just watch movies and do stuff. And I'm like, man, sometimes I'm just like, wow. I don't even know if I can read this one. Oh yeah, I can read this one. No, because I'm not gonna read the other stuff. But oh no, I can't read that one. This is from Shootouts, man, because I love that song. But Nas is a master poet, man. If Rakim, who had an album in the top 10, is they nicknamed him the God MC. Nas is like the next iteration who, as a storyteller. And then you talk about Kendrick. You know, I was at a mixer last night while you were at the movies. And Shane, just to show you how incestuous this whole thing is, I'm in the middle of this is a mixer where people are networking, and all of a sudden, They Not Like Us comes on. And like these are like suited up people at a mixer, and people are dancing at a mixer. And I'm like, dang, Drake, this is gonna have to be you this whole summer. Like, dog, like wherever I go, they're playing They Not Like Us at baseball games. I'm surprised I haven't heard it at church yet. I'm surprised you haven't been in there. They pass an offering and they go, da da na 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 na. Woo! Poor Drake. I'm not gonna say poor Drake, but wow. Because you brought it on yourself.
You brought this on yourself, son. You brought this on yourself.
J. Cole. You saw J. Cole. Hey man, my bad, bro. It was the dumbest thing I ever done, man. I don't want it. I don't want it with you. And guess what? That was a career-saving move for Cole. Cole is sleeping well this summer. He's on vacation. He's relaxing. He is not stressed out.
Yeah, he's sleeping well, listening to Not Like Us, just like everybody else. He's like,
all right. So that was the top 10. So Charles, Who do you think is missing off of this list, man? 'Cause there's one
Uh,
obvious name that's missing. And you can't tell me, maybe they're saying that this person never produced a great album, but I'm just saying the fact that this guy is not on the list in any shape, fashion, or form is an oversight.
well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not sure if this is where you're going, but I didn't see DJ Jazzy Jeff on in the Fresh Prince on the list at all.
Man, and nor should you. You think that's the top? You think that
Not
Will
in the top
Smith
10, not in
and
the top 10, but
I'm
I'm
talking,
saying
you
they're
think
not.
they had a top 100 album, one of those albums? Even though it
Absolutely.
did win, look, even though it did win a hip hop, okay, well, okay, that's a good one. All right, I'll take that one. You know who's not on the list to me at all?
That
Busta Rhymes.
I looked at that.
You can't tell me Busta Rhymes doesn't have one album that should be a top 100 album. You can't tell me that. He's been around for 30 years, and Busta is one of the most innovative, creative MCs. Missy Elliott is on the list. If Missy's on the list, Busta should be on the list. I'm just saying that to me is huge. You know who else isn't on the list? Mobb Deep.
Yeah, they are. I thought for sure I saw Mobb Deep.
Is Mobb Deep on the list? Because I didn't see it. I can stand corrected if they are, but I know Busta's not on here.
I want to say I saw him around 50.
Mobb Deep, they better be on the list because I'm telling you, that's an oversight. I mean, wow.
I mean, it's terrible. You have to scroll the whole list to see it.
Yeah.
I wish they had just put it out as just the names, and I could look at it. But you got to go through their whole.
Nas has 3 albums on here. I'm trying to think. That's going to be the next issue. How many albums you see on here? You said Mobb Deep is on the 40s. I still haven't seen Mobb Deep.
Well, I'll look for it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. Infamous is at 28. I'm sorry. My apologies. All right.
Okay.
So Mobb, yeah, but I'm saying no Busta Rhymes on here at all. So I'm trying to think who else. I'm just trying to think of the obvious stuff. I mean, Big L, Big Pun is on the list, right? I want to say Pun is on the list with Capital Punishment because I think I saw that.
Yeah, I did see Capital Punishment on the list.
No Luda. But Luda never was a guy who made great albums. He would have great singles, like Southern Hospitality or Move, You Know What, Get Out the Way. But Luda didn't have a lot of great albums. Trying to think who else. Kanye's on here a couple of times. I know.
A few times, yeah.
College Dropout, graduation. I mean, and his highest one was My Twisted Dark Fantasy. So there's several people that are on here at least 2 or 3 times, right? I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else? LL is on here with Radio.
I mean, he's got two at least in there because I think I know I saw more than one time LL's on the list.
Now the other thing that I found to be interesting, and I'll ask Shane because this is more of his generation. Shane, Cardi B came in at number 29, I want to say, if I'm correct. Am I correct? Yeah, Cardi B.
Yeah.
Cardi B came in at 29. You know who Cardi B finished in front of? She finished in front of Eminem, the Marshall Mathers Project. She also finished ahead of Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z, his debut album. Scarface on the list. She finished ahead of Big Daddy Kane. It's a Big Daddy thing. She finished ahead of LL, Radio.
Yeah.
She finished ahead of Gangstar, Hard to Earn. And she also finished ahead of people like Kendrick Lamar with Good Kid, Mad City. Jay-Z album.
But not Damn. Damn was higher than that one.
Yeah, but I'm just saying all of these albums that I'm naming came behind Cardi B's album. Look at Shane's face. Criminal Minded, Boogie Down Productions. Oh, yeah, there's Big Pun. Bro, I have no idea. I don't know. Oh, and by the way, Cardi's album came 20 spots ahead of Little Kim's album, Hardcore, which Hardcore is the foundation for what Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are doing now. Interesting.
It may be the foundation, but it wasn't as successful, I think, as Cardi. Cardi B sold a lot of albums, and that might be what got her up in that spot.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that might be the justification that they use for ranking her a little higher than albums like Reasonable Doubt and the Marshall Mathers LP, and I don't know.
All right, there's an album at number 52 on this list, right? And I'm invested in some of these albums because I just know how special these are, right? Coming in at number 52 is an album called Biggie by Common. Has anybody here heard B other than me?
Oh, I have it. Yes.
There's a song on there, because there's a great album, but there's one song in particular, which I think is probably one of the most creative and genius songs that if we talk about Nas being able to paint pictures, if I put this one song on off of B and close your eyes and put you in a dark room, you literally could see what Common is rapping. The song is called The Corner, right? Corner is brilliant, Charles, and we've talked about this. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
He has three verses. The first verse ends in a single syllable. The second verse ends in double syllables.
Double syllable.
And the third verse ends in a triple syllable. And B is such an influential album. I was in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to get the Stony in Cottage Grove, and everybody was like, "You don't want to do that right now. Summertime, be out." I wanted to see this block that Common described in The Corner. And maybe it's best to go back, Charles, in the wintertime so you can kind of get the vibe from the video. But, bruh, Common is a genius. That album is way too low for me. That should not be at number 52. That album, if Cardi B's at 29, B needs to be higher than Cardi B.
But I'll go back to the same thing. I don't think Common's B sold nearly as many albums as Cardi B did. I don't think it did.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Shane this time.
Does Shane know of B? I mean, does he know
Shane
that
does
album?
know B. Shane, Good City. I mean, good. What is it? Good City, Mad. I mean, Mad City. What was it?
Good Kid, Mad City.
Uh-huh. So how's that album in like the 40s and Cardi's album? We talking about Kendrick Lamar. If Pirates and Crips all got along, they probably gun me down by the end of the song.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this: if they did this list maybe in this month or since the whole thing, a lot of Kendrick stuff is getting up higher on this list.
Bruh, Kendrick Lamar, man. When we talk about the next, we talk about Rakim going into Nas, going into other folks who, are lyrically who are great. Kendrick Lamar, man, my God, man. Hold up your sign, man. You about to hold up a sign? Oh, he's grabbing some signs to hold up to let me know to wrap it up.
Is it wrap it up time already? Good gracious.
Wrap it up
we
time
haven't even talked about movies.
Oh, that's right. We have not talked about movies, man. Charles, you're gonna have to call up, man, and we're gonna have to do something special to get some movie reviews, man. Because are you gonna write some reviews this week?
I'm about to send them to you.
Cool. Yeah, we don't have to do them, man. Because I'll just do Sing Sing later this week, man. And we'll get that up in time for the show, for release date. But yeah, Charles, I just, like I said, man, I think Busta Rhymes to me, and I'm sure somebody else will probably hit me back and go, there's some other stuff that we missed. But, wow. Busta can't make Busta doesn't have one album that's the top 100 album. Travis Scott's on the list. Cardi's on the list. Nicki is not on the list. Is Nicki on the list?
I didn't see Nicki on the list.
I didn't see Nicki.
Did not see Nicki Minaj.
Wow. Lil Kim is on the list. Lil Kim and Cardi, but no Nicki. Nicki cannot be
it's a big list. I might have overlooked it.
What's wrong? Shane has got his list. No, that makes sense to you? What
Lil Kim is at 40. Lil Kim is at 49.
Lil Kim's at 49. Wow. Dang, Charles. Latifah made the list. Whew. Is that the Latifah album that UNITY?
Which album is it?
All Hail the Queen. No, that's not the UNITY album.
Wow. UNITY was its own album.
Wow. Yeah, man. The Beastie Boys on the list. Juvenile. There's a lot of artists. Bones Thugs and Harmony made the list.
I didn't see 3 6 Mafia on the list. Did you see them?
I did not see 3 6 Mafia on the list. Scarface made the list, but no Ghetto Boys. I mean, there's a lot of silence, man. Y'all guys looking at me like, so let me see. Cardi B has already lived several lives before she became a rapper. She was a stripper, an Instagram star, and a reality TV personality on Love and Hip Hop New York. For her debut album, Invasion of Privacy, she discovered a true calling, claimed the rap game as her own. I don't know. I don't think it should be at number 29.
Let me ask you this question. Tribe Called Quest and the Wind Theory came in at 13. Is that a number? Is that a top 10 album?
I would say so, but who do you move out? Who do you move out? Are you moving out Slick Rick? I mean that's a legitimate question.
That's a legitimate question.
I mean, only Built for Cuban Links finished number 12. That, to me, is easily the best solo Wu project. That album is so good, Shane. It's not even called Only Built for Cuban Links. It's simply called The Purple Tape. That's the Purple Tape. So, I mean, Raekwon and Ghost. I mean, you can talk about Method. Did Method Man have an album on this list? Tikal is not on this list.
I didn't see it.
No.
I might have missed it.
No, you didn't miss it. Tikal is not on this list. Wu-Tang Clan's album is on this list. I think it's in the 20s or 30s or something like that. But yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff, man, when you talk about this list. 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying finished number 11. It's right outside the top 10. Low End Theory is absolutely a top 10 album. I just don't know what song, what album you put.
I don't know who you would take out to put it in, but it's
Low End Theory. You've listened to this album, Shane. Low End Theory is.
There was a movie we saw called Rye Lane, where the girl in the movie was telling a story, and she said her boyfriend said the Low End Theory was some crap. And as soon as she said that, I turned to Tim. I was like, she lying. This whole story is made up. Ain't nobody in the world saying that the Low End Theory is crap.
And by the way, the album that won the Pulitzer finished number 15.
Yeah.
That won the Pulitzer. Everything inside the top 20, man. My God, man. Top 20, super duper fly, Missy Elliott at number 20. Black. It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Public Enemy, 19. Straight Outta Compton, number 18. 3 Feet High and Rising, De La Soul, 17.
Come on now.
America's Most Wanted, Ice Cube, coming in at number 16. Great album, man. Damn. Kendrick Lamar, number 15. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye West at 14. Of course, the Low End Theory, Only Built for Cuban Links at 13 and 12, and 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying. Yeah, man, we need to hit this and spend some more time on this one, Charles. We started too late, man, because you wanted to talk about these little funky Emmys. We missed out on all our hip
Hey,
hop.
you brought it up, dude.
I know, man. My bad. All right, man. Let's get on out of here, man. Thank you guys for listening to another week of The Big Show, Keeping It Real with Film Gordon. I am Tim Gordon, and on behalf of my man, 50 Grand, Hamlet, lines espousing Charles Kirkland Jr., we will be back to see you guys next week. Charles, don't come in here, boy, if you're sick. I'm telling you that now. Don't come in here bringing the C's with you. Even Shannon's like, Yeah, you see him. Don't play. But until next week, bro, peace, man. We out, man.
All right, peace.
You take care, man.
You too.